violent switch. The bigger one, he didn't have it. The older one, he punched him and his tooth went through his lip. And I was like, ooh, why don't we stop there?
Yeah.
I was like, why don't y'all stop?
By the way, we're back.
I can see his tooth. Oh, shit.
How are you, America?
Did you hit record?
I hit record because that's just how we do things here.
Can I get a soda?
Yeah, you can get a soda. Welcome back to the Sack. Look who's back, America.
2 weeks.
2-week hiatus for the Redoubtable one. Good to have him
terrible. That was terrible.
But he had reasons.
Dude, okay, so, yes, I did.
He had reasons.
I heard you call my trip my high school field trip, living out my glory days, which is not what I was doing. I was not living out my glory days. I'm so
well. Why not?
I'm so old.
You're not. You're 11 years younger than me.
Dude.
I'm so old. Listen to him.
Dude, if you think I was trying to relive my glory days, I can't.
That's why you can't. They're glory days.
But
every now and then.
But dude, a guy's trip is
what?
It's nice. It's rejuvenating.
It is rejuvenating. It's invigorating. Which is what Brian Kovac is on one now. Golf trip down in Myrtle Beach.
When are we going to do a guy's trip?
I don't know. I have to figure that out.
We've done a one night, which was fun. DC.
That was fun. That will happen at some point. Anyway, welcome to IDD. For those you know, I don't disagree. That is the Redoubtable one back from a parade of pimps and whores. And
that's not true.
No, that's not what happened.
That is not
anyway,
true.
Furthest thing.
Not even a strip club.
No, nothing. But
we went to a place that doesn't even have them.
He did go to the world's greatest city, and
just got back from Boston.
Yep, and he first time there.
No, second time.
Second time, but this time he really, I assume, got to dive into it, and he found out what a lot of people find out who don't dive in, but then when they do, they go, "Holy fuck!"
It's just such a picturesque city.
It is.
It is really pretty. In terms of smells, it's pretty strong there. Oh, yeah. Of course, you're going to get some whiffs of stankness. But overall, the air is very fresh and crisp.
It's fall.
It's beautiful.
Fall in the beautiful.
A little chilly at times. The wind kind of pissed me off.
Well, you're on the water. You're right there.
Everywhere you go, you got a fucking wind in your face.
It's Europe. That is Europe where you are. It's not like you're on the south.
That's also what makes the air feel so much fresher because it's not just.
No, it's coming from the other end of the world. There's nothing in its way. It's hitting you.
You're in its way.
Yeah, it goes over the ocean. It hits you. That's not
great food.
Yep. So I'm happy he got to actually dive in. As a history guy, I always encourage people to do that because I don't think if you don't study the history of Boston, you really can't appreciate it. It's a beautiful city. Don't get me wrong.
I didn't study the history of Boston. I still appreciate it.
But you appreciate other things too.
Sure.
I'm just saying that if someone who's going to Boston, people think, well, summertime. No, the fall is the best time to be there. Fall in New England, there's nothing like it. Yeah. It's very, and you feel that vibe.
Surprisingly, the leaves were still green.
Still green, yeah, because it's still been warm up there.
Yeah.
But when
I got the sense this was the first semi-cold
weekend.
Like it just started cracking.
Yeah. And I'm glad he got to, and his daughter was with him too, Maddie, and his wife, of course, Casey, and I love that Maddie got to see Boston. And I know one day she'll go back and even have a greater the next time she goes back. But to me, if you have any interest in the history of this country, it starts there. You have to go do that. If you do nothing, if you're an American and never leave the continent, your bucket list should be a weekend in Boston. Just so you can, you'll go there, and if you dive in, oh yeah, Paul, I don't know if he did the Freedom Trail or saw Paul Revere's house, ran that shit. I mean, you gotta really see it. And
he's affectionately known as Paulie Walnuts to my family.
Paulie Walnuts now, yeah. So
I'm going to Paulie's house.
They reckon he was the ridingest man in Boston. That was a British thing from Johnny Tremaine, which is about the Sons of Liberty and the Boston Tea Party, all that stuff, all that great stuff. So anyway, I'm glad him and his family got to see it. Most of his family got to see it. One day, Penny and John hopefully will make the pilgrimage to Beantown. And
got to see the banners.
He sent me a picture from the TD Garden today, and
that was last night.
Last night, whenever it was. And
thought you might like that.
Well, who wouldn't like that? Of course, there's only 17 in that picture. There will be 18 in a couple of weeks.
Well, I saw a banner with the numbers. There was a blank, right? Like it's going to go up there?
Those are the retired numbers.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So the one you saw had Bird, DJ, Parrish, and McHale on it.
Was there like a
one
blank?
left?
Okay,
Yeah.
so they can still add.
They can add
Tatum.
one more. Tatum. Well, Tatum and Brown will both go up now. They're both going up, and we'll talk about them in segment 2. But first of all, I wanted to. If he wins another one, I think he might. If I just wanted to, debrief. He hasn't been here. Welcome him back. We missed him.
Can we talk about the last 2 weeks in sports?
We are. We're going to start.
I want to talk about the last 2 weeks.
We're going to start with the Mets.
Oh, man.
We have to start with the Mets because this is the story of the season as far as I'm concerned, because honestly, he's as diehard of a sports fan as I know, and this is his team. And
yes.
We were sitting here 6 months ago, and he sat there with a very solemn look on his face saying, look, if everything goes right, they might get a wild card. But that would be the ceiling.
I said their ceiling was a third wild card. They got the third wild card.
Yeah, but he didn't say they'd win.
I didn't think they would.
He didn't think they would. He thought just getting in was the win. Well, now they are facing
at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
I think I was 70-30 sell it all.
Mm-hmm. I think you were. And they were in it then. They were
but
they were in it.
But they were in it to the point where I thought they were just a third wild card team. Well, now I see they're so much more than that.
This is why.
Because of who they've become.
This is what I love about baseball finally figuring out with these extra playoff slots. Because now you get a story like this, whereas before you wouldn't get it. Now you can get it. And I will never root for any New York, but as my friend, I'm happy for him because he never thought this could happen. And I couldn't see him when I was watching it. But I couldn't.
Which game?
I watched all of it.
I know.
Every single game.
I know, which game are you thinking of? Because
Alonso was the first one.
Home run.
That was the first one.
Well, actually, no. The first one was the Atlanta game.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Where Lindor hit the 2-run bomb.
Shout out to Giggle Smoke. Who, after they had lost in a row, said they were going to win out and get in, and they would have won out, but they didn't have to win the third game because they had clinched in the second game. That. So Giggle Smoke, my alter ego did. So he's 2-0 in the young season. 2 whoppers, by the way. That one and freaking the Carolina Panthers going in and winning
against the Raiders.
Yeah, if they pistol whip fucking Baltimore. Are you kidding me?
Those are major whoppers.
Those are major whoppers. So yeah, he's clearly stoned because you have to be stoned to make a call.
Dude, but this is what now. Of course, so beginning of the season, middle of the season, 5 months into the season, I doubted this team. Okay. I loved it. I still always loved it, but I doubted it.
Yep.
But I did say the last 2 weeks of the year, or last 10 games of the year, I said, if they get in, I know they're prepared.
Yes.
Because remember I said the hard teams.
Yeah.
They were going to have to beat Atlanta. They were going to have to beat Milwaukee.
They had a gauntlet there.
Yeah. I can't remember who was before
Atlanta. What did they call that thing? Was it called the gauntlet? What? Do you remember that puzzle that you could die in, and knights used to run through it back in medieval times.
Labyrinth?
I think they call it the gauntlet. I think.
Well, that's where the gauntlet comes from.
And the most recent example, at least in a movie that I saw, was the one with Sean Connery was King Richard and whatever. Well, not King Richard, but it was Camelot. And it was Lancelot who ran through this thing. How did you beat the gauntlet? No, and he just walked in as a street and beats the gauntlet right in front of them all. And he goes, how did you do that? And he goes, because no one's ever done it before. The guy's like, and they would dress them up in armor so if they got hit, they wouldn't die. But there was axes and shit. This is and there's swords going like this. This was the Mets. This was the Mets run.
Dude, the Mets had to play 7 games against the Phillies.
Yeah,
3 against the Braves and 3 against the Brewers. And I said, look,
this is murder.
If they get in through this, I'll know they're prepared. Mm-hmm. And then they had the big storm came, so they couldn't play 2 against Atlanta.
Yep.
They had to go from Atlanta to Milwaukee, back to Atlanta for a doubleheader.
Crazy.
Francisco Lindor literally becomes a Met legend that day.
He did.
He became a Met legend that day. With after they dropped the 6 in the 8th, Diaz comes in, blows it.
Yeah.
Lindor hits a 2-run bomb, and then Diaz comes back on for the save, which Mendy had the balls of a bloody billy goat on that day.
The balls of a bloody.
I don't know what that means. But I'm assuming
he's back, boys and girls.
I'm assuming.
What did you say? The balls of a bloody billy goat. Put it on the list.
All right.
What the fuck is that?
Well, I assume a bloody billy goat's got huge nuts.
What? What does bloody and billy goat?
I was just alliterating. I wanted it to be BBB, and unfortunately, bloody was the first word.
Bloody balls of a billy goat.
If I had said something like a bull-headed Billy Goat. That would have been better. Bullheaded.
I know. I think it's fine the way it is. Anyway, the balls of a bloody balls of a Billy Goat. Or was it the balls of a bloody Billy Goat?
The bloody balls of a... I don't give a shit. I don't care. Okay. So that happens.
That's what the Mets went through. All right,
dude. That happened. So this is, So I experienced that game at I'm working at my house, right?
Yes.
I'm wearing a Mets shirt with my Mets jersey on, and I go into a meeting. I think it was around like 3:00, and I come on in my Mets jersey, right? The Mets are losing, I think it was 2-0.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was 3-0.
Yeah.
And the people I'm talking to are in New York. One of them's a big Mets fan. The other one's from New York. So he talks to me about the Mets. He's not a big Mets fan.
Gotcha.
So he goes, "Oh, I see you're cheering the Mets on." And I was like, "Yeah, it's not working." Because they were down 2-0 or whatever.
Yeah.
My friend Joe, he goes, "Yeah, newsflash. They're going to lose this game and the next game." And I was like, Joe, calm down.
Wait till I see Reefer J-Bone Giggle Smoke and tell him about you.
Well, I was like, dude, stay positive.
Yeah.
Because
Joe.
This is the guy I told you about that when I said I hope Sanga has a good game tonight.
Okay.
And he tore his calf. He goes, "You jinxed him."
Oh, this is Joe.
This is Joe.
Okay.
Another Paisan.
Okay, Joe.
A true Mets fan in the most negative way possible.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He's Randy Quaid.
So yeah.
In Major League. That's who he is.
No, but I told him, I said, dude, we have to. I was like, this team is not about jinxes. We got to get away from that stuff.
About resilience.
So he turned around and he started predicting. He was like, this next road trip they're going to go 7-3. Boom, they went 7-3. Like, he became positive. Oh. But in that moment, he was like, they're going to lose them both. Okay. So then
they're going down in flames.
Okay, so I'm in this meeting, and that is the start of the 8th inning.
Yeah.
The Mets rally for 6 runs while I'm on the call.
That was ridiculous.
And I'm messaging Joe. I'm going, dude, the Mets just tied it.
Oh my God.
And so by the end of that meeting, we're talking about it. We get off that meeting, and in comes Diaz and blows the game. Right after I get off that meeting. But then Lindor comes back and saves the day. It was really, beating the Braves is more significant than just us getting into the playoffs.
Sure it is.
It was beating this motherfucker who's been kicking our ass for 3 decades.
Nemesis, dare we say?
Oh, yeah. And
would it be so bold?
The problem is it's hard for us to call them our nemesis because to us, or to them, we're just this little bitch that
they're the big, yes. They're the one that keeps getting in your way.
Exactly.
So, and this is the Red Sox and the Yankees 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You gotta get through that wall, which is usually a team, a nemesis. Okay, that's what they are. Yeah. And yes, that's what
they are.
And to his point, that's what makes it more significant because they went through them.
Yeah,
so he was not wrong.
So I knew but I had no clue it was going to happen like that because first of all, they hold you down for 7 innings, then you pounce on them for 6.
Boat racing.
Then they get back up off the canvas,
hit you back,
hit you with the haymaker, and you go down. Yeah. And the next inning, you come back, you stand back up, and you knock them out for good.
Yep.
That was fucking Stones of Henge. That was Stonehenge.
That was Celtics Lakers.
That was
Celtics Lakers Bird Magic shit. That's what that was.
But here's the
he just described it in 1984.
And here's the thing. And in that moment, it solidified the bond between the fans and Francisco Lindor. Okay, because his first 3 years here, the fans have not embraced him the way we could have. I think some of that was on him. Some of that is just how hypercritical we are when somebody gets a big contract. Like, I love how New York, everything's so fucking expensive, but the minute we pay a star a lot of money, we get cheap as fuck. And
that is kind of hypocritical, isn't it?
I mean, it's like we're New York.
Everything in your state, in your city rather, is like this. And then you care.
And in addition to that, it's like
it ain't your money.
But it's not our money.
It's not even your money.
And then the other part of it is, whenever somebody gets a big contract, like if they're not perfect, you're like, no, you're not worth your money.
Well, let me ask you this, because this is a fair question. I get why fans do this with certain athletes. Before he got this big contract, was he reliable?
Yes.
Was he resilient?
Yeah, I mean,
I'd say
he was a star.
Yeah, but I'm saying he's consistent. He's been consistent. All right, then. So here's the thing.
Right, but see, he got that money, then his average dropped like 30 points.
Was he hurt?
No.
He completely healthy.
Yeah.
Okay, so he had a slump. Like slumps don't happen.
No, but it was basically like we had this crazy expectation. We had this crazy expectation because of the money. And when his numbers kind of fell back, it was kind of like, damn, we paid you $340 million. We wanted what you were, you know? And I think because of that maybe unrealistic expectation, we missed all the great things he's been doing for these 3 years.
He's been...
And this season, he has been the best player in baseball since they turned it on, since they moved him into the leadoff spot. And for him to have that moment against our nemesis, everything is out the like he's amazing. He's one of the best Mets ever.
You have to understand. I know this is, and I'm glad that's a perfect description of it. Basically,
is it? I don't even know if I'm making sense.
I'll tell you why you're making sense. Because when you become a legend in a town as an athlete, it's usually because of one or two reasons. You won a championship, obviously, or you're the one that actually stopped whatever it is. That you're the one who put the nemesis down. You're the one who knocked the bully off the block. Finally, someone came along, and you are immortalized when you do that. If you're that dude, and he is that dude. And I 100% agree with what he just said, because that's what I was thinking when he did it. Yeah. I'm like, he's becoming that dude, because I know Boston's got a few of them. I know.
So it takes a little bit of luck, and it also takes somebody with this kind of mentality. It's like when the team needs the best player on the team to be the hero, and that person comes through as the hero. Now you had that for the past 20 years.
No, I had that in my whole life.
Really?
If you think about my whole life, think about when I started.
Oh, because like Larry?
I had Larry first.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
who was the 90s.
Larry wasn't. Well, it was before. It was. There was nobody in the 90s. Then it was.
So you didn't have it all your life.
Those teams were good in the 90s. It wasn't like they
right,
were
but you had Larry, and then you had
Brady. Dynasty. I didn't just have Larry and Brady. I had Ortiz.
Oh yeah,
the Red Sox are a dynasty too.
Ortiz was there same time as Brady.
Yeah, but I had the linchpin. I've seen three of these guys. Yeah. In my you get one. Chicago has Michael Jordan. Okay, they have them.
The crazy part though, there was more than just Ortiz.
Yeah, there was Manny.
There was Manny.
Pedro.
Yeah,
I'm saying, but they won three. And they stopped the so-called curse. They stopped it, and they did it in the greatest.
Well, they hit the nemesis. Yeah, it's the same type of thing.
But they were down 0-3,
that's
the best comeback in the history of sports.
Best comeback
in a 7-game series. That is number one. I don't think anyone would disagree.
Well, the problem is, they're even if there is another one at another time,
it'll never outdo that one.
It'll never come when you haven't won in 100 years.
It's like 100 years.
And you're facing your nemesis, kind of similar Braves Mets, just the team that has been bitch slapping you for decades.
And the league, I might add. 27. Everybody. But they usually start with you.
Right. Yeah. They wipe their ass with you first.
The evil empire. Yep. You're the first off the toilet roll.
And not only that, you totally fuck up the power dynamic in baseball.
You set them in a
forever.
Yeah.
Because the Yankees have not been the Yankees since that series.
They've got one World Series in 2009.
But they didn't even get it the way they got the others.
No. But look, they're knocking on the door now. They might be back.
They got a shot this year.
They got a shot this year, but so do the Mets. And it's funny, the team that is standing in their way now is the team he and I said 6 months ago, just anyone but them win it. And now it turns out anyone could be the Mets.
When they signed Yamamoto,
and
then they signed Ohtani and only were paying him $2 million a year for 10 years, we said fuck them. Mm-hmm. Fuck that team. So
as much as here's the thing. It's like I hate New York, but I also
really hate
I hate LA.
You hate LA.
I hate them both. Now it's for different sports.
See, I don't hate LA.
You don't have the Lakers, and it's not. Exactly. We have that. You don't have that. It's just like
I just don't like the fact that
Dr. Buss's dying. His goal was he spent his entire life trying to catch Red Auerbach in the Celtics. That's in the book about him. Is that he was upset. Dr. Jerry Buss, the Lakers GM. He signed Magic Johnson to the first $1 million. He gave him $25 million over 25 years, which everybody thought was nuts at the time. But it was Magic Johnson.
Cheapest deal in history.
Yeah, look at it now. But I'm saying $25 million a year for 25 years, what it was.
That guy.
So
was he the linchpin to Showtime?
He was.
Right?
Magic started Showtime. Okay. Now Kareem was there.
Right.
And Kareem was already a champion and a 4-time league MVP.
But
Kareem didn't need Magic.
Magic catapults that.
Well, no.
Franchise,
the thing is,
right?
Magic and Kareem, I keep saying this, are 2 of the 6 best basketball players that ever lived. And I have them respectively at 3 and at 6. Okay, and because they had each other.
You have Magic at 3?
No, I have Kareem
at 3.
I have it's Russell, Jordan, Jabbar, Bird. Sorry, I have Magic at 5. Magic at 5, Wilt at 6, and then I have Duncan at 7, Dr. J at 8, Kobe at 9, LeBron at 10. That's my top 10 of all time. And I can justify every pick and where it is.
Right, but we're talking about the Mets.
Back to the Mets. The point is, back to the Mets.
Now let's go to Milwaukee because Lindor becomes a legend.
Yeah.
And then the Mets go back to Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. They've just lost 2 out of 3. Milwaukee actually swept the Mets first series of the year.
Yeah.
When we thought the Mets were awful. Mm-hmm. Turns out Milwaukee was very good. But they swept us in the first 3 games of the year. Mm-hmm. Then beat us 2 out of 3 the last 3 games of the year. Mm-hmm. We go in there, win game 1, lose game 2.
But you got the split.
Well, we didn't get the split. We were still there.
Well, that's right, because you don't get a home
game.
There. I hate that rule, but I know why they do it.
Right, no, it makes sense. I actually love it.
I hate it
because
I get why.
It actually gives you a disadvantage to be that 3rd wild card, and I think that's fair.
Okay.
Like if you're gonna win it from the wild card spot, you're gonna fucking earn it. That's what I like about it.
I think everybody's got to earn it. It's just a different way of earning it.
No, but I'm saying it's harder for you because you had a lesser record.
Seed.
Right. So
I have a harder road than the one.
So I like it. Yeah. But then we go into that final game. Oh my God! And this is when I'm on my guys trip, my high school field trip, as you would call it. Glory days. And then, so Pete comes up, top of the 9th inning, and I texted you about this moment, right?
No, I texted you first.
No.
Yes.
No, so I called my dad.
Work.
I called my dad. You weren't at work.
It was Friday. Not Friday, but like a week ago, whatever it was.
It was Thursday night.
Oh, that's right.
Late.
I'm thinking of the other.
It was late.
So
Mets are getting shut down for 8 innings. Mm-hmm. Their bullpen gave up a quick 2 bombs in like the 7th. Mm-hmm. It was 2-0. Mm-hmm. The Mets can't get anything going hitting-wise, and the Brewers are bringing in one of the best closers in the league. Apparently, best changeup in the league. So I called my dad. I told my friends, I was like, look, I'm sorry, I got to call my dad. Because we were sitting in the living room. We had just gotten there. We were watching the game. Mm-hmm. And I called my dad. I'm like, hey, we got to stay on the phone. We got to change the juju up. So I was being positive. You said I was about to jump off the earth. What did you say?
The Tobin Bridge.
Yeah.
Which is in Boston.
But I called my dad and I was like, come on, they can do this.
We call it jumping off the Tobin. Whenever the Red Sox choke, we're like, all right, look, go quick, somebody check the Tobin. And punch their finger and jump off the Tobin.
So I was not like that. Because this team has fought back so much.
They've been resilient all year.
I got to start believing until it's over.
Giggle Smoke called it.
So, well, no, this was Milwaukee now.
That's true.
So, Lindor walks, Nimmo gets a hit, right? So now at 1st and 3rd, 1 out. And my dad goes, oh, no, Tom, guess who's coming up? And he was like, it's Pete. He was like, no, it's Pete. Because Pete hasn't had a big hit.
Pipe Alonso.
Pete has been fighting to get a big hit.
Pipe Alonso always gets a big hit here.
Here he does.
He never not gets a big hit here.
And old Pete was clutch. Mm-hmm. Pete has gotten clutch hits.
Yes, he has.
But he's been fighting for it all year, it feels like. Mm-hmm. He comes up and my dad's saying, oh my God, I hope he doesn't hit into a double play. And I said, Dad, and you know how haven't I told you, like we say our favorite play is a 3-run home run?
Yes.
I've told you that, right?
Yes, you have.
So I was like, no. I was like, Pete has waited all year for this. I said, shit, Pete's waited his entire Mets career to have this moment. He's waited his whole career for our favorite play to happen, hit a 3-run bomb, and this will be his signature moment.
Yep.
And like 2 pitches later, holy shit, Alonso.
Fucking laser show right over the right
He
field
didn't even
wall.
try to hit a home run.
No.
He tried to hit a line drive to right field, and he did. It just went boom over the fucking wall.
Over the wall.
He knew it as soon as he hit it, he yelled.
Yeah.
What a fucking amazing moment. That potentially could have been his final at-bat as a Met. If he hits a double play there, or gets out, there's no way they sign him this offseason.
Nope.
He's gone.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, you'll pay him anything he wants.
But that's why.
I love it.
And that's the.
I love
That
it.
is what makes
Poetry.
Of all things that makes sports great.
Poetry.
The fact that a person's fate can change on one play, one moment, and that's true in all sports. It could be a goal
That's
in
how
hockey.
finicky shit is.
It could be an interception in football. One play
Change the
can
course of your
change
life.
your entire life, and that's what we
If
watch.
it's that big a play?
We watch this live. You want to know why I'm not into politics or acting? Sports is my thing because you don't see that anywhere else. You can't see that anywhere else. He saw it, I think, 3 times in the span of a week with 3 different people. So on the same, so
where
I mean,
somebody just because of something they did, they immediately changed the course of their own history right in front of us.
Because
that's what Pete Alonso
it's so hard, and the higher up you get, the harder it is to win. It's so fucking hard to win.
Dude,
you don't
performing in
understand.
pressure moments like
it's
that?
so fucking hard to win. I mean, he was looking at the parquet floor today, or yesterday we said the picture, and I played on that floor. And I was joking with him that was the only time in my life when I wet myself as an athlete. And it had nothing to do with the opponent.
You told me that.
I was in the Boston fucking Garden.
And it shook you?
And you're looking at the floor and you're thinking, Bill Russell played on this floor. Larry Bird and Magic Johnson played in Michael Jordan on this. You think about this.
And then the urine just starts to flow?
You forget you're in it. It's like, I just got caught up in it.
Oh, Shador, that was terrible.
It cost me dearly. But I've played in big arenas before. But the Boston Garden isn't just some big arena. That's not what it is.
History.
It's like, it's history. You're stepping into history. So I'm glad he got to see that. It was the TD Garden, it wasn't the building. But the parquet floor is down there.
No, well, I've seen a preseason game in that stadium.
So
last time I went, which was like 8 years ago. But we digress. Pete Alonso came through in one of the biggest moments you could ever script. Literally, with everything coming together, this season, his Mets career, that series, his last at bat, to do that in that moment is just storybook shit.
This is the story he will tell in the nursing home. I guarantee it.
But
I guarantee.
And so
if
this
he gets to a nursing home,
this might sound really stupid, but I was so happy I called my dad and experienced that moment with him on the phone.
That's not stupid at all.
You know, but I could see somebody being like, why is that so big? But I don't know. It was because we were in different areas, different states, but we experienced that moment. And it's like, it's a sports team. It like runs through you. It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
It's literally a part of your identity.
Yeah.
At this type of level.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah.
I don't know why I care so much, but like when you see stories like this, it's kind of obvious.
I got news for you. It's not just you, because I've had people the second they hear from Boston, like, oh, Celtics fan, huh? I haven't said a word to them. I just told them where I'm from. Okay? Or you grew up in Foxborough? Oh, Brady.
Dude, well, you know what's
it's like, I didn't even say a word to them. I didn't even know how much of a fan I am, but they say it.
Here's what I love about sports towns.
Yeah.
Okay? Because I've never truly lived in a sports town. I was born on Long Island. I was gone by the time I was 6. Then I lived in a place, Gaithersburg, Maryland. No sports team. Then Fredericksburg. Then Virginia Beach. Then Richmond. They're not sports towns. When you walk into the fucking airport, they have the banners over security. Security had the Boston Celtics banners.
Boston, you walk into Boston, you walk into a sports town.
Exactly. That's so cool.
Town. I love it. It's the fact that they had that run from 01 to where they were the first time in history where a team in all 4 sports won the championship in a 10-year window. They did that. Like, that's unfucking real. So, I mean...
And they were dominant in baseball and football. Oh, I don't know about hockey.
The Bruins, I keep saying this, like, no one understands this record. The Boston Bruins hold a record that no one thinks about until you really think about it. They have been to the postseason the most times in a row, more than any team in the major four sports. They went to the postseason 29 years in a row. Think about that.
Is that still going right now?
It's still a record. No. They missed the playoffs eventually, but they 29 years in a row the Boston Bruins went to the postseason.
How many cups in that span?
2. Bobby Orr.
All right. I mean, 2 is nice, but in 30 years, that's like some Braves shit.
Well, that's Jeremy Jacobs shit.
What's that mean?
He's the owner. He's a cheap motherfucker.
Because I mean, that's great. You won a playoff team
29
30 years in a row. That's great.
In a row, you went to the postseason.
And
they're considered the stepchild now because of the Patriots dynasty.
Well, dude, and then the Red Sox. The Red Sox got 4.
I've seen 3 dynasties: Celtics with Bird, Red Sox and Patriots simultaneously.
Let's get back to the Mets.
This
is making me sick.
Yes. You brought it up.
I know.
You go to the airport and the banners are hanging right there. And like, so yeah, sorry, you started it.
No, I didn't start that.
You did.
No, you were taking us down that road.
Well, you brought it
I
up.
gladly hopped along.
You kind of put on the team
I know,
and said, how far you want to hit it.
I'm just messing
Anyway, but the Mets are doing a great thing right now. So back to this.
But so then, I have that moment with my dad.
Yes.
The Mets win that game, obviously. And then who's next? Another fucking nemesis, the Philadelphia Phillies.
Who are great all year, by the way.
They were great. I think they were the best team in baseball at one point.
They were great.
But I didn't realize this, and after you saw the series, for the last 100 games of the regular season, the Phillies were like 2 games under 500 or 2 games over 500. Yeah. The last 100 games of the season for the Mets, they were like 30 games over 500.
I know. It's crazy.
So,
but the Phillies still had a better record.
Exactly. Because of how bad the start was that the Mets
Philly
got
just
off to.
Never dipped.
Well, because they jumped out to 27 games over 500, and then they played 500 baseball.
Yeah, but I'm saying they never had where they went from 27 games to like 10
Yeah, because they just became a mediocre.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was something seeing the Mets go in and get game 1. And after the way we beat Milwaukee, every Met fan thought we were taking game 1. But again, we did nothing, and then 7th or 8th inning comes, and we get to the bullpen. Yeah. They're a team that always knows there's time. Like, they're not scared, you know.
No, they're not.
We have another at-bat. We can get runs here.
Yeah. No. So
and
here it is. Here's the play. Slid right there. He used the 27-yard line. He went too far.
Oh, God. I can't stand that guy.
That's your
I can't stand that guy.
Oh, you got the win tonight. Much as you're going to win Joey Galloway, Ohio State Buckeye.
But then in game 4, here's another legendary moment that happens. I mean, 3 times in 10 days.
Yeah. It can happen like that. Right, Boston?
So, series has never been clinched at Citi Field. No playoff series. Mm-hmm. The Mets have not clinched a playoff series in New York since 2000. 24 years.
It's a generation.
That was in Shea Stadium.
A generation is 20 years.
That was when I believe Benny Agbayani hit a walk-off against the Giants. Yeah. That was the year we went to the Subway Series and lost. 24 years ago.
That's a generation. More than a generation.
So
that's Dallas Cowboys shit.
So we are in position to clinch this series at Citi Field, and we cannot score a run. Mm-hmm. It's 1-0. Philly's not doing shit either. They got a run on a couple infield hits and a walk, I believe, and maybe an error by Vientos. Mm-hmm. We've loaded the bases I don't know how many times and haven't done shit. Mm-hmm. And then I don't know if it was the 6th or the 7th inning, Lindor comes up with the bases loaded in another spot where it's like, look, if we don't win that game, we have to go back to Philly.
This was big.
We have to play Zach Wheeler. He's pitching. Mm-hmm. And who knows if we get back from Philly. Lindor hits a fucking grand slam and
just I could feel I could feel Tom's elation. Like, it was weird. It was like, why is that? Yeah, that's Tom. That's got to be Tom.
I screamed like you wouldn't
I
believe.
could tell. This is the whole. There's a commercial for this where the women are showing the girls showing the women around our new place, and they go into the closet. They walk in, all the shoes, and they're all screaming. And then all of a sudden you hear a bunch of screams from the other thing, and it's a guy showing this brand, this never-ending bar he's got in his house, and coolers everywhere. And they're like, oh! And like the women look at them like
That's a commercial?
That's a commercial. It's the greatest commercial. And that was Tom when he hit that home run, and justifiably so, because it is one of those moments.
Dude, the guy has had 2 all-time Met moments in 1 week. Those are both top 4 home runs in Mets history.
Is it not the greatest feeling?
It's amazing.
If you're a fan of that team, is it not? I know, because we've had a few of these. But now he's had this, and this is even better because now he knows what I'm talking about. He didn't really understand what I was talking about before, but now he does. Now he does.
The crazy part is we kind of had a guy in basketball do this the past year and a half. Jalen Brunson, in a short span of time, has become a Knick legend, in my eyes. Now, he doesn't have these credentials. He hasn't won in that way yet. But the way he's turned our franchise around, he's, to me, is going to hit legendary status. Taking $100 million less. Like, I feel like he's on that trajectory. I kind of already have him there, maybe prematurely, but I love the guy. And Lindor, with what he's done in the past 10 days, Brunson, there he is right there. First Knicks jersey I've bought in 24 years.
He did that over Patrick Ewing, his favorite player ever.
My favorite athlete of all time.
And yet, that's not sitting up there.
So that speaks kind of volumes. Lindor, though, I mean, he's catapulted himself into legend status in my eyes for the Mets. And I know that could be premature because this run could end.
This is the thing. Now they're up against Goliath.
Oh, yeah.
This is Goliath.
Yeah.
This is the team everybody penciled in the World Series before the season fucking
and if
started.
they get past them,
if they
they'll
get
be
past,
up against the Yankees.
If they get past
another
them,
fucking
do you
Goliath.
understand what a historic run this could be? Think about what they've gone through, and think about what's waiting.
Well, so we had to in the wild card round, we had to face the Central Division winner. In the divisional round, we had to face the Eastern Division winner.
And I don't want
now in this round, Western Division.
I don't want to jinx them. I'm just saying that historically speaking, if they were to pull this off, do you know where this would rank historically in terms of a postseason run? I can tell you, top 3. All time, top 3. I don't know if I'd put it 1 because of the 2004 that Red Sox team that came back on the Yankees because of that comeback.
That's got to be 1.
That's got to be 1 because of the comeback. But this route that they're on right now, if they get through it somehow, it's top 3 all time. Yeah. It's right there. I don't know how you could argue it, given what's remaining. And the thing is, I'm not saying they're going to do it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did it because they have the intangibles.
Yeah, they have a real shot.
They have chemistry. They've got people that have proven now that they can deliver in the clutch. And it's like when the Celtics won the title last year, finally, they get that monkey off your back.
They have confidence.
They have confidence now, which is the most dangerous thing a team like that can have.
Exactly.
So
once you really start, it goes beyond belief.
They're not going to be afraid of the Dodgers.
It's not we believe in ourselves. It's like, no, we fucking know.
Yeah. They're not going to be afraid of the Dodgers at all. No. This is what I don't think people understand about this series. I don't know if they're going to win this series, but I know this. They're not going to get intimidated. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. They've gone through too much. Yeah. They're not. This is not going to scare them one.
That's not their DNA.
So if the Dodgers beat them, the Dodgers will be better. Simple as that. It won't be because they're going to wet themselves. I don't think the Mets are going to wet themselves. No, I don't.
No, but their bullpen could get touched up. And we've seen every single bullpen.
Every team
in the majors has gotten touched
including
up
the Dodgers, have flaws.
Yeah,
they all do. There is a scenario where
you're not playing a perfect series.
There is a scenario where every one of them loses it because they have a weakness that could kill them. They all have a weakness that could be fatal. All of them. Trust me on this. They do. So the Mets have as good a shot as anybody left.
Yeah,
they do. So anyway,
and I just love the way they carry themselves. Yep. Did you see Lindor when he hit the grand slam?
He acted like he'd done it 10 times already.
Yeah. I mean, he held on to the bat.
Act like you've been there.
And just jogged around. It was crazy.
Yeah, act like you've been there.
The problem is not many people have been there.
Not for the Mets.
In a moment like that.
Not for the Mets, no.
Nope.
they're usually on the other end of it. So this time it's them.
It was a beautiful moment.
No, it's a great thing. This Final Four is going to be awesome. Cleveland moved on today, so it's going to be Cleveland Yankees in the AL. That should be a heck of a series too. So
they had a big grand slam today.
This is going to be fun. This Final Four. So we will cover it through the whole way, and it should be awesome.
Starts tomorrow.
Tomorrow, right? Yeah, tomorrow. So don't be surprised if he calls me on an emergency something at some point during the week. Fuck the damn bus stop. I can see it now.
I'm interested to see what happens tomorrow. Yeah. Well, yeah. Because we're starting Kodai Senga, which I love. Mm-hmm. I love the fact that they had the fucking guts to start him against the Phillies. So remember, Senga has started one game all year. He was out the first half of the year. He came back. He was shutting out the Braves for 5 innings, tore his calf. That's all. So he calls them. I don't know if it was after they beat Milwaukee or while they were playing Milwaukee, and said, hey, I can pitch if you need me. So they let him pitch 2 innings against the Phillies. I think that was big. That throws a team off when you start a game with one guy, pull him after 2, and then bring in a different look.
Yeah, you can, absolutely. You're going over, you're preparing for 6 innings of one guy. Minimum.
Right.
And then all of a sudden
they say Senga's starting?
Yeah,
what?
All of a sudden what?
Now, Kyle Schwarber, the poetic thing was Kyle Schwarber led off the series with a home run, ended the series striking out. He hit that bomb off Senga. Senga settled down, pitched 2 innings. Then they brought in Peterson. The rest is history. They win game 1.
Yeah.
Dude, Mendoza and the front office, how they've been figuring out personnel. Stiflos Mendoza might go down as one of the funniest nicknames ever, but it's probably like the least correct nickname I've ever given somebody. Now, Stud Muffin, as RJ has affectionately called him, is a much more accurate description of the man. Because when I tell you, he manages off like knowledge, feel, I think statistics as well, so analytics, better than I've seen a manager manage. I'm trying to think, maybe Francona.
Reminds me of Tito.
I mean, Francona was, I feel like, all feel. He was all feel.
He really was. He was amazing at it, by the way.
Yeah. Now, Torrey,
I have 2 World Series rings to prove it.
Torrey was good.
Torrey was good.
But
Alex Cora is like this.
Alex Cora is very good.
Very good. Yep. So
that's where he is. It's great. And I remember when they signed him, it's like, who is this guy? Why are we signing him? But it's so much better than just getting some retread that you know what you're going to get. And now this guy comes in and he's built a culture. Look at the culture of this team. It is a winning culture. These guys talk to each other. They root for each other.
That stuff, people. I laugh when people go, "Oh, that's so cliche." Well, cliches are cliches for a reason, because they're accurate. Okay, they're frighteningly accurate when you think about it. Okay, and all that stuff that you hear a guy or a girl say when they're sitting there on the podium about to get that championship trophy, and it always starts with the same thing: chemistry, locker room. We actually care about each other. We don't care who wins as long as who gets the credit as long as we win.
Right.
It's funny how all these championship teams seem to utter the same shit. And it just kind of flies under the radar. But it's so important. It's so important. You don't win without it. You don't win without it. But I'm sorry, you don't. You don't. There's not one example of this happening in the history of sports. Okay, so you don't win without it.
I thought.
I will wait for someone to give me a team that was just a bunch of fucking pricks and they couldn't stand each other. They had 25 limits, 30 limits, and they fucking win a championship. I'll wait. I've never heard that happen. I've heard teams get destroyed because of that.
Yeah. Seeing this team has made me think a lot about some of the things you say, and how you've always said talent will never,
not enough.
is not going.
It's never been enough.
Defeat effort and that kind of thing. And
people,
it's true when you watch teams like that, you can easily see on paper who's supposed to be the better team. Yeah. And then you watch the teams play, and you go, damn.
99 times out of 100, that is based off physical talent. Who people think is better. And this is where Larry Bird is so monumental in my life and why I defend him the way I defend him, because he was the first example for me of a guy who overcame that every fucking night. I always argue, this is the one where I always drop the mic, the Bird Jordan argument. Why do you think Bird is better drill, Mike? Because I'll ask you two questions and you answer them honestly. When was there a night in Michael Jordan's prime when he wasn't the best player on the floor? And everybody goes, never. I'm like, all right, when was there a night in Larry Bird's prime when he was? Good night. That's it. It's that simple. It's that simple. And that's why Michael Jordan is the one guy who he reveres Bird more than anybody. And he always says it kind of under his breath, but he respects Bird in a way that nobody.
Does Paul revere him?
Probably, because he could never beat him. See, here's the thing that Michael Jordan knows that he'll never say out loud. Michael Jordan's ego is part of why he's great. And Michael Jordan believes, like every other great player, that when I'm on my A game, nobody can beat me. He now knows that's not true. Because he scored 63 points in the Boston Garden April 23rd, which is still an NBA playoff record, and he lost to Larry Bird.
What did Bird do that night?
38, 12, and 10. And then the next game in Chicago, which conveniently gets swept under the rug, they go into Chicago. Dennis Johnson, the other guy over here, holds Jordan to 19. Bird scores 43, and they say, go work on your golf game, Mike. Okay? That's why Jordan revered him.
How old was Jordan when that happened? Was he younger?
25.
Oh, he was 25.
He was in his third year.
And how old was Bird?
27.
So he was in his fifth?
No, Bird was in his sixth.
Sixth, okay. Yeah.
So
he came in the league 3 years prior.
Bird came out as a senior. Jordan came out going into his junior year after his sophomore
Gotcha.
year. But Jordan was younger than Bird. But the thing is this, like, Jordan never got the best of Bird.
Yeah.
And
Bird wasn't at his best then?
I would argue Michael was too, since he never outdid that number. 63 points.
Oh, no, I'm not saying anything, but I was asking if you were saying
Bird won his third consecutive MVP that year, and he's the last man to do it.
So that was his best.
He's the last man to do it. But I will tell you, in 1988, when he lost the MVP 1-2 to Jordan, he had a better year than he had in 86, individual.
I feel like Steve Nash should have won it three in a row.
No, he shouldn't have won one of those.
No?
He should have won. The thing is, he got robbed on one, but then he
But it
kind of evened out.
Okay,
Yeah, it evened out.
Because I remember the third one that I thought he got robbed on. I thought was pretty.
He did,
bad.
but he got the second one. He shouldn't have got that one. No. So to me, that evened out. Okay. But
wasn't there somebody else that was almost there? Was it Dirk? Who almost got
Jokic
three?
got two, and then he lost to Embiid.
And then they gave it to Embiid.
Well, Embiid had a better year though. 33 points, 30 whatever. He was leading in scoring. He had better numbers. Jokic, here's the thing. They were both playoff teams. Jokic had a better team.
I just don't like Embiid. That's all.
I do.
But I'm not disputing the numbers.
But he won it. He did. And I don't like the guy either, by the way. I'm a Celtic fan. I don't like him. And after what I saw him do to the Knicks, the way he did that, to me, sorry, Joel. It's on the tape. Roll the tape.
I'm sorry. To me, after you do something like that, you'll never be an MVP.
You go down a notch or two with me. I understand being
MVPs
physical.
don't do that.
Yeah, they don't. You're supposed to be one of the faces of the league, and you don't do that. It's one thing when someone
temper tantrum shit.
It's one thing when somebody starts with you and you got it. That's different. But to some of the shit that he pulled in that series, I was surprised.
Yeah,
I was surprised.
So weird.
So anyway, but we're going to break from segment one. We're going to come back segment two, pick segment, college football. By the way, as we're talking to you.
Yeah, we still have a lot to talk about.
But we're going to take a break. I'm glad he's back. Missed him. And but hey, he had to go somewhere. He went to one place I wish he would go, and he did. So we'll be back segment two, Yoda, Jobu, Betty, and the Hizzy. It is a slug him down, dare I say, sip him slow. Data one, highly question one, coming right up. Football, week 6.